How's it going, everybody? Electron Man. Well, I got a little Squire 125 CB amp here. I've never seen one quite like it. It's kind of cool design. It looks like it's made by Electronics Unlimited from Lebanon, Tennessee. Interesting. I didn't know there was a Lebanon, Tennessee, but anyway, Electronics Unlimited. It's called the Squire. I hooked up the power wires, and so far what I found out is it doesn't, it's kind of acting weird. It'll power up. The receive does seem to be working on it. Yeah, the receive is definitely working. The receive amp's definitely working on it. And it has a low and a high, which I start out on low, and it's just not transmitting at all. It's not even doing the pass through. This has got sideband too, but I've got it on AM, and it's not even doing a pass through. And if I go to high, it lets about a watt and a half, and then you hear that, and I have to turn it off. It causes a chattering like it's oscillating. So definitely something seriously wrong with it. Or I should say seriously wrong. There's definitely something wrong with it. It's not working. I went ahead and pulled the screws out of it. Take a look inside here, and my initial inspection is I don't see, like, the 10 ohm resistors. They look like they're still intact, not burned out. And one on that side looks like it might be a little bit brown. Is it? No, it's just those are old resistors. But no, it's not burnt. I don't see anything burnt, but I'm, like I told you before, I am in no means a CB linear expert, but this has got me really scratching my head. I don't know what the heck this part is here. I mean, I honestly don't know. I've been in quite a few aints before, and I've never seen that before. And it looks like it's got a center pole, and then I guess the outside case is the, so call it a two-polar. It's like a one-pole metal something, and it's sitting right on top of the pill. It almost looks like it might even have a heat sink grease on it. I don't know. I mean, that's your hottest item in there. Is it trying to keep the transistor cool, or is it trying to, the way it's insulated, I'm almost believing that it, but then it bridges across on the hot, or across the transistor, so then it's almost like short. Like I said, I have no idea. I mean, could it just be a extra piece they put on there to keep the transistor cooler? I don't know. Initial testing. Well, I should say initial testing. Actually, I'm not even going to do. I mean, I kind of already probed in here a little bit as far as continuity. Well, we'll kind of probe in here a little bit and see if we see anything obvious. Power it on. Like I said, you can. Okay, well, I see what's doing that chattering is that relay sticking open for some reason, which would probably mean we're getting some type of feedback or a bad capacitor, maybe a bad transistor. How are we doing on continuity here? Let me go to continuity. Kind of just check to see if any broke connections or anything. Oh, we're good there. Kind of trace this down, see how that runs. I don't know, this is going to be a real challenge for me. I've never really seen one designed like this before. I mean, I see your input and output transistor or transformers there. I mean, in a kind of a lot of ways, it looks like normal ones I've seen before. And I mean, I know most of those caps are to balance the bias in it. This thing here's got me really, really confused. I don't know if you can see that good or not, but that part right there, I just don't know what the heck that is. It makes absolutely no sense at all to me. A couple of these caps in here looks like it's a little swollen. Cap back there looks like it's a little swollen. I think what I'm going to do is starting out, since I don't know where to. I mean, I'm hoping the pills aren't bad. We're going to assume the pills aren't bad. I don't want to jump first to pulling pills and testing them. It's a lot of work, and it's hard on the pills even so. I mean, even if you're careful, it's risk in taking a pill in and out. But yeah, I think I'm going to recap it first. Kind of the way it's acting, it almost kind of acts like it might possibly be a cap. So I think we'll start there. And I'll just kind of record this as we go along. Like I said, I tried to find, again, a schematic. You know, a lot of this LCB equipment, forget it. You're not going to, unless it's really popular stuff. I have to say Texas Star is really good about it. They got a lot of good schematics in their amps. But a lot of these other ones, you know, this one here, I pulled it up on one of my sites I go to that has a lot of schematics and manuals, and all they have is a picture of it. So no help on that end. So I'm just going to go logical here and kind of start simple with, I mean, those caps need to be replaced anyway. You can tell this thing's got to be 30 years old, and those old caps are looking pretty rough. So I think hopefully I've got all these caps. There's not, fortunately, a whole lot of, and when I talk caps, I'm talking electrolytic ones, the ones that are most likely to fail. These ceramic and I don't know, like porcelain. I don't know what they call that other one, but I guess it's ceramic. But these typically don't fail. These type of caps don't fail. These fail. So we'll and I only see what 1, 2, 3. Fortunately, I only see what four electrolytics on it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and recap it to start with and see, you know, if that does any good. And then from there, I don't know. I might have to do some search on the internet. It's weird. I mean, this thing's got me baffled. If you can't tell, I mean, it's got 2 relays. So I'm guessing one maybe for sideband and one for AM. I mean, this looks like a true. This is a true Class A linear with a sideband switch. It looks like it's true with the extra relay. It's a true. What do they call that? Class A linear, I think. Anyway, let me stop the video here. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the caps and test them and kind of work from there. Well, I replaced the caps I could, and I tested them all. They were all not in very good tolerance, but none of them I would say were shorted out. Unfortunately, I had some 33 puff, but I didn't have any 33 at 25 volts that they needed, or 50 volts. I only had 16 volt ones, so I couldn't replace a couple of them. One of them was at like 42. It's not exactly spot on, but anyway, the ones I did replace several of them that I had, and the good news now is I have pass through, and I also still have receive. So I got that far. So I got pass through. I'm still not getting any transmit. Now whenever I power on AM and Kier, it's got very little wattage. Hello. About a half a volt. So I'm putting 4 and getting a half out. That's not a good sign. And that's on low. And then if I go to high, I get that sticking. See, the relay sticks open. I have to shut it off. So I don't know why on high it's sticking a relay. And keying 2 watts. So anyway, just give you progress where I'm at. So replacing the caps did make a difference. I now have pass through. Before I wasn't even getting pass through. It wasn't even letting the signal pass through with the aint turned off. So obviously one of those caps was bad enough that it wasn't letting signal pass through. So I got part of the problem solved. Now I just got to figure out, 1, why it's not putting any output in, 2, why on high the relay sticks open. I have a feeling we're going towards these 2 guys right here now. I don't see a whole lot else that it could possibly be. Unfortunately, I do have a couple MRS, but you know, like I said, I'm not that amp guy, so adjusting impedance on it and getting a good balanced bias circuit might be a challenge. But I mean, I kind of know whether your input and out transformers. I know to adjust them to get the lowest reflective power, basically. And I have it in 10 tuner, so I can see if it's in resonance. But anyway, let me look at it a little bit more, and we'll come back. But progress so far is the caps did help. At least I have normal pass through, meaning that with the amp off, it performs as if there's no amp there at all. Before, it didn't even do that. So we're partly way there. We'll just keep picking away at it and see what we come with. Yeah, guys, it's Electron, man. I've been messing with this little critter here, and this what do they call it, a Squire 125, and well, unfortunately, it don't look like it's gonna be a working ant for me anytime soon. I went ahead and recapped it as I said I was gonna do, and it did help it. I actually got it passed through, but anyway, I still couldn't get it to act right, so I thought I'd go ahead and pull one of the pills and do a test on the pills. Well, what I ended up doing is lifting all the tabs. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I actually lifted all the tabs so it's not touching anything. And I was able to get in there with my tester and test it, and yes, I have a bad pill. More than likely, probably the other one's bad too. Doesn't really matter at this point because I didn't even notice it till I started unsoldering it. But you notice it doesn't have the normal 2 screws on each side to hold the transistor down. Well, guess why? Because this is a transistor that has a pole that goes through it. It's back on the heat sink here, and so it's actually got a stud that goes down into the aluminum, and then this way. But anyway, long story short is it's a different style transistor than I've ever seen, kind of like this whole setup has been. And by the way, that right here, that's a diode. Why they are using the transistor as a heat sink, because it actually had a heat sink grease on here. It had it soldered on across there, and using the actual transistor as a heat sink, I have no idea, because to me that is the main component that generates heat. Why would you want to heat your diode up? But anyway, strange design, but back to I went out there and I thought, well, you know, maybe I could buy a couple pills. It's really a cool radio. Or amp, I wouldn't mind having it running, but I can't even find any. I mean, I searched the Jungle Web, I searched eBay, and they're not even to be found. I found one that said they had a 455A, but they didn't have a photo of it, and they wanted $105 a piece for them. So no, I'm not going to put $200 worth of pills in a 125 watt little heater here. So I'll probably go ahead and solder it back together. There's no reason it tore apart like this. That, and then I was trying to pull this one pill here, and it wants to turn, so I guess I'd have to solder it back down and hope that that screw's not so corroded on the backside that I don't end up tearing something else and you can barely get in there. Anyway, not a real serviceable little heater here, so we'll just we'll call it a couple hours of wasted bench time is actually what it comes down to. I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping I could get this back up, but that's the way it goes. It win some, lose some. I think if I'd have noticed those 455s had been a different style, that I probably would have went out and looked on the internet and see if I could even get them before I went to this much trouble as recapping and stuff like I did. But lesson learned. Anyway, I'll go ahead and post this old video. Not really too exciting. I guess you get to see the inside of the Squire 125, and we got to sit here and shoot the breeze a little bit. But anyway, have a great day out there. This is Electron Man.